Hi there. Good day, everybody. I'm Steve Farrell. I am a co-founder of Humanities Team. I'm coming to you live from our studio here in Boulder, Colorado, and you can see the dear friend that I have on the screen here with me, Charissa Sims, and you're only a stone's throw away from Boulder, aren't you, Charissa?
Well, that's right. I'm in Lafayette, about 20 minutes away.
Colorado. So, boy, lucky us. And we actually we were talking about our weekends. We were both in the mountains up there. You know, we're in Colorado. So how fun is that? You can go up into the mountains on weekends and enjoy.
A few miles away from me. I was in the mountains. That's so wonderful. And I posted. So that's great.
Yes. So we're going to get to introductions here in just a little bit. But I want to welcome everybody. So first, everybody in the green room. I can see a lot of faces on camera there. So I want to wave at you. John, Carol, Jack. Hey, you all, nice to see you all. Others that are here in the green room. These are Humanities Stream Plus members. That's the streaming platform. So, hey, thank you all for being here. It's always nice to have a live audience with us where we can actually see you on camera. So very cool. Also, our Humanities Team friends out on Facebook and social media, YouTube. So, whoa, big shout out to all of you. Friends of Charissa Sims, because she's a speaker, a healer, a guide. She's the host of the Zen Success podcast, which she had me on recently.
That's right, for the launch of your book.
For the launch of my book. That's right.
And I have it here.
Oh, wow.
I'm
all
a
right
fan.
there. A new universal dream. Yeah, thank you. Boy, that was a blast being on your podcast too. So Charissa is very, very gifted. We're grateful to have her as part of the Humanities Team family and to have her here actually as the host, and I'll explain that in just a second. But also want to welcome Sign Network, John Raymer. So Sign.network, they're engaged in all this positive change all over the world. So big shout out to all of them and these sites that they broadcast us out to. Now, because this is a live program, we're taking questions here during this hour-long broadcast. Our theme is conscious business. So that's a big, and of course, Humanities Team is about conscious living, right? We're a 501c3 nonprofit. So we talk about making conscious living pervasive worldwide by 2040 in 17 years. Well, if that's going to happen, then the most powerful institution on the planet, business, they're going to have to come along. So we're going to talk during this hour about conscious business, how that happens, where we are now, what direction we're pulling in, and how's Humanities Team contributing to that. So if you have any questions for us, be sure to put them in the chat. And if you're in the green room, you can, if you want to come on camera with Charissa and I, you can just put up your hand and let us know that you want to come on camera, and we'll invite you in here in just a little bit. Okay, so with that, Charissa, again, she said, hey, sure, I'll come in and I'll be the host. So we're going to do something a little different where Charissa is going to be the host and I'm going to be the guest. Because as we talk about conscious business, there's really actually quite a lot I can contribute. You may know, if you know a little bit about my story, back in Silicon Valley there in the 1990s, you know, I created these conscious businesses. And then 20 years ago with Neil Donald Walsh, we launched Humanities Team. And this is a conscious organization, not so much a business, but a conscious organization. And there's many, many things that we've been involved in conscious business. So Charissa, thank you for offering to come in and kind of be the host here of today's program. And I'll just kind of throw it over to you. But we're just going to go back and forth and have a real lively, I think, interesting and important conversation here during the hour.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve, for having me be the host and interview you again. It's wonderful to have the opportunity to connect. So yeah, I just wanted to dive right in. And like Steve said, we want you to be a part of this. This is interactive. So any questions you may have, feel free to put it in the chat, or we can bring you up live if you're here on Zoom, or if Facebook, YouTube, feel free to submit comments and we'd love to hear from you. So let's just talk about some of the challenges that you might see in the business cultures today. Yes,
so in the business cultures today, I think there are many. many opportunities too, but let's start with the challenges. So the challenges include that right now the rewards are, for most businesses, they're pointed at getting a financial reward. It's monetary reward. So that means top and bottom line growth so that shareholders get really rich returns. And that really, in the boardroom, where things like fiduciary responsibility come in, and where fiduciary responsibility is defined up front, is we're going to take good care of shareholders, which is how most businesses are put together. That just creates the basis for everything in the business. All of the planning, all the discussion, all of the sales work, the marketing work, the operational work, all of it is focused on the North Star is how can we grow this business at maximum speed to enrich shareholders. So that creates quite a challenge, because if you work for a business like this and you put up your hand and say, hey, can we do more things like supporting the community and maybe giving away some percentage of our time, or doing this during our marketing or our sales presentations that bring in things that we could do in support of community in the world, they're going to, if they're receptive at all, a lot of times it's just going to be just a little bit of, okay, let's give you 2 minutes to do that. Charissa, feel free to, at the end of the meeting, we're going to give you 2 minutes to talk about that. It just doesn't really get a lot of attention. So there's a lot of pressure, there's stress on people to really run and drive and succeed this way. And also, where it's set up this way, notice that there's no fence posts around how we grow our bottom and top line. It's just grow the bottom and top line. So we could create a media organization where we're saying horrible things, including lies, but you know what? Our ratings are going up. And we're like, hooray, we're doing good. We could create a GMO company and just be dumping GMOs in agriculture all over the world, and people love our brand and they're buying more and more of our GMOs. And we go, we are really hitting it out of the park, team.
Like
I could go on.
Doritos and Cheetos. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chime
Right.
in there.
Right.
GMO
Yeah.
foods.
All these things, we could, and
Right.
we're hitting it out of the park, team. We got 10% growth quarter over quarter here, so this is a real problem. And of course, conscious business now addresses all of these things. I want to just say again, I know we'll get into it a little later, Charissa, but boy, when you turn that organization toward this new North Star and make it truly conscious, wow, watch what happens and watch what opportunity there is. And just to give you a little small taste for that, the younger generation, the millennials, Generation X and Z and Alpha, they don't have any interest in this, just, the sales contest. Let's put $20 in your pocket because you grew sales, and it's not tied to anything meaningful or purpose. And even millennials, and I'm in the millennials, I mean boomers, even the boomer generation, as well, post-COVID, we're not wanting this whole lack of meaning and purpose and not living our values. That doesn't have much for us either. So there's a big opportunity here as we kind of turn the ship, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. I can see that how companies are so focused on profits and work harder, stay as long as you can, and don't worry about breaks. And I've seen that as a consultant too in many corporations. And I just wanted to mention, and you started to talk about it, that maybe this is what we're proposing, that you can be profitable and conscious. So can we take that, how the business cultures are today, have consciousness actually can be a driver for profit, because like you said, you're giving the employees meaning, you're connecting with them, you're helping them thrive in their environment. What do you think about that?
Yeah, there's so much opportunity here. Exactly right, Charissa. Exactly right. So this is why you don't ever want to say, well, go do this and don't do profits, because it just, those two, actually, it's not a tug of war at all, as you mentioned.
Right. That's what I wanted to say, is that these can be intertwined and one goal.
I'm a walking, talking example of that. Because you know what? In Silicon Valley, before they coined the term
success stories,
conscious business, we this is what we did. We created open book management, and we adopted at our local high school and took on other projects. And really, I threw out my day planner because I was too task oriented, and everybody, I'd show up prior to that with, here's your 20 to-dos, have you done them yet? Not very inspiring. You throw that out.
You're poking at people.
Yeah, you throw that out, and no more stickies on there, to do this and this and this. You get rid of those practices.
I read that in your book. You had
right.
Post-it notes.
There you go. Yeah. My book, A New Universal Dream, I tell the 50-year story there. So including that whole story in Silicon Valley, where I'm embarrassed to say I did these things, but as I was awakening, and everybody here, right? We're all on the conscious journey. We're all awake, we're all deepening into it. That's why we're here. That's why we're having this discussion. And as we awaken, then it's just, we naturally move from logic center of the mind to wisdom center of the soul. We're become feelers more than thinkers. We're more kind of seeing the sacred, feeling the flow. It's more heart-based communication, more really listening, not asking questions to just ask questions, but to really hear, to really hear what the other person is saying. And they go back and forth like this. And where we don't have priority anymore on people. So you could literally have a janitor on one side of the room and the president of the United States on the other side of the room, and you would not give your full attention to the president. That's just not what conscious living is. These are two people who are on the sacred journey, who are all contributing. And so, I won't kind of embellish this much more, but I remember as I was awakened, I'd be sitting at a table with low-level operations people and secretaries. I thought they were cool people, and we'd have a wonderful conversation at the company party. And, it doesn't, you're looking through different eyes. Actually, even now, the house cleaners that we're fortunate enough to have house cleaners that come in here.
Yeah, you see
the most
them,
beautiful,
you recognize
sweet
them, you connect with them.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And they love my music. My family all kind of laughs at me because I've got this spiritual music. They come around and, wow, we really like your music. So enough of that.
Yeah, you're changing the consciousness and the energy of the space. Yeah, it's awesome.
So yes, to come back to your thesis here, maybe the two can go together. Exactly, as you open your heart and you just create a more loving, more truthful, more transparent environment, more inspirational, a dream that people can embrace. There's meaning and purpose. Of course your business is going to take off. Of course it will. So there's so much opportunity, and we do need to turn the ship, because right now we started with the important question you asked me, Charissa, of where is it? What are the challenges there now? This is not good. So business is pulling the train here on the earth today. It's the most powerful institution on the planet. And so business needs to become conscious. And it's why we've got this huge focus on conscious business and humanities team right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you touched on this a little bit when you said millennials and baby boomers and everyone are looking for meaning. And I think that really got highlighted during COVID. So I feel like, do you feel like COVID and now people are in more of a hybrid work environment where they're not going into the office every day? That creates an additional challenge where conscious business may be able to help with that?
Absolutely, it can. It can. And also, you're kind of inferring that maybe evolution works on our behalf, even COVID, as you're saying. Well, maybe COVID had some, there was some positive effect, you're saying, which is exactly right. And evolution, the wind is actually always at our back, even with challenges. I've got a daughter who she's just going away to college in the fall. There's all this, in their senior year, there's all this pressure. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, she's excited, but a lot of pressure. Is it going to work out on the right school? All these things. But the wind is actually always at our back, and if we can just remember that, have a little faith. Faith means that fact isn't here yet. So we've got to just know, the universe has got our back. We're trying to do good things. We're probably going to go to good places. This is true actually for the whole world right now. And this is maybe something important to share, because even this last weekend, as I was reading through the New York Times and the Outlook section and so on, it was saying there's just this huge sense of isolation and loneliness now. And
Yes.
in work environments, anxiety and even depression, and a sense of, oh my God, is this all that there is? So that's right. That's quite pervasive out there right now. And so this is why it's so important to be talking about conscious living and conscious business, and where we create a new North Star, ways of living that really nurture us and the business and the community and the world. And Humanity's team, all the growth that we're getting is because this is our focus, all of these positive things. And we have created a culture where people can come in and have a voice and share their contributions and be acknowledged. And it's a we, not a me type environment, which is important in a conscious business.
Yeah, absolutely. That's wonderful. So say a business is considering this, or maybe an entrepreneur, maybe they don't have a full team. This can still apply to them, I assume, right?
Yeah, you can. Solopreneurs are percentage-wise much bigger in number than those that are just working like in Fortune 500 and large global organizations. There are those that are working at that level, but there's solopreneurs everywhere. Kind of like yourself. I don't know that you would call yourself that, Charissa, but I mentioned you've got speaker, healer,
I would. You're right.
Guide, host. I mean, there's so many things. You're a solopreneur. And so absolutely, and solopreneurs can turn your ship just like that. So you could listen to a program like this, pick up a few ideas, and start tinkering with your model today, and tomorrow and the next day, and you'd see a year from now that, oh my gosh, this business, what I'm doing professionally has really gone in some different directions that are working for me, and for my home and for the planet. So yes, you can move on a dime on all of these things.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think if the solar entrepreneurs, infopreneurs, if we can all adopt this and be at the forefront of this, other businesses will see this and want to get on the bandwagon, want to get on the train, because there's so much more of us. And I think a lot of employees, because the business is not being conscious, the employees may want to start their own business so they can be more conscious. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of that. In fact, I'm going to just say something really bold, but I believe it, so I'll say it relating to this, Charissa, which is I actually think that the universe is calling to all of us right now with this. I think that this is a message whose time has come. This conscious living wave and business is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, with mass and speed as this wave is coming in. And I think it's because we're being called to it. You mentioned COVID, maybe that was a driver. Also, maybe as a driver, we were talking in the green room before we came in, and you were saying, well, developmentally, Steve, maybe we needed to do all of these things that, huff and puff and run and toil, and to say, well, that was interesting, maybe we need to move on now to the next thing. I think that's happening. I do. I think that this wave is coming, and I think the calling is here. And I just invite viewers to really feel into this, what I'm sharing. Are you hearing this calling yourself? And are you hearing it in many contexts, not just personally, but maybe relating to your family, maybe relating to your business professionally? This calling to, gosh, let's bring in meaning and purpose. Let's bring in deeper values. Let's connect the dots here. Let's, as we look at extreme weather, some people think it's just happening randomly. I don't. I think that extreme weather is a function of this whole way that business works on the planet. And as business gets well, our weather's going to start getting well too. So that's just one example.
Like
There's
it's
a
a
Ukraine war.
reflection of the turmoil in the business or inside our being.
Yeah, it's this whole microcosm, macrocosm thing, right? That they're linked. So as we get better, well, the planet gets better. And that's the whole idea when we say in Humanities Team as a nonprofit, let's make conscious living pervasive worldwide by 2040. Well, that's saying actually on an individual level and on a collective level that we're both going to really get well, and they go together. So you either get sick together or you get better, well, healthy together. And we're saying, hey, let's get well, healthy together. And then, in a professional context, as I've been sharing, watch how your business actually becomes more successful. I mean, isn't that interesting that your business could become more successful by using these practices? And if that sounds silly and, well, maybe that happened to Steve, but I don't think it would happen to me, just think about it this way. If you could, do you want to be around grumpy people that are just sort of, hey, we're trying to get our 5% growth here this quarter. Come on, can you lean into it? Come on, kind of whip man. Is that, or do you want to be around people that are listening well, that are, good ideas are floating to the top, that everybody's really jumping on the good ideas and helping manifest them? And where do you want to be as a customer, as an employee, as a vendor, right? I mean, it's no contest.
Yeah. Absolutely. I was laughing because I was remembering one of my first jobs out of grad school was at an aerospace company. And I experienced that a lot, just people trying to get through the day, not really caring. I mean, I'm sure there are some thriving, like connected companies. It's just like the section that I was in, I was like, it was just interesting, that culture. But I think they were trying to get people to have more of a voice. They had an initiative to promote women and all of that. But yeah, I definitely think some of their practices are a little bit outdated now.
Yeah, my wife Stephanie, before she came to work at my first company, it was called ENS. She worked for one of the big investment banks, and she had gotten great grades and good college and everything. But a woman walked in, and it was like, hey, the coffee machine is over there, the executive suite is over here. Let's make sure we got hot coffee, for everybody. And there was
so
no
that's how they
ever
saw her, as like their slave.
Just this whole time, and never asked her anything. So she was shocked when she came to work, and she was employee number 4 or 5 at ENS, this first company, and she was a sharp woman. I was saying, well, what do you think of this, and how would you do this? And she was saying, you're asking me? Of course I'm asking you. What would you do? How would you do
that's so
this?
Sweet. She had to relearn that you actually cared. Yeah.
and why would you not? Again, why would you not want the best ideas to float to the top in your organization instead of pigeonholing people? My God, how crazy is that? The business is going to suffer where you pigeonhole people. So, you have a stark contrast here, between one and the other. Let me just share, there's some great questions coming in. So I don't know if you can see those, Charissa, but one thing I want to mention too, as we're just in this delightful conversation, because we're actually almost halfway through the hour already, is there is a free program. It just was
like a blink, wasn't it? I feel like I only asked you one question.
Yeah, we're just flying along here. Thank you. You're doing a great job as host. And so Humanities Team right now is featuring our Conscious Business free program. So we actually just last night was the maiden voyage, so to speak, the very first broadcast ever of this free program. We'll put on the screen here where you can go to opt in to this Conscious Business program. It's a 30-minute presentation, and then there's live Q&A that follows. There you go. It's on the screen now. So Dr. Larry Clay, who's the dean of our Conscious Business program, is there for the Q&A. He's terrific. Yeah, so Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific and 12 noon Eastern, we're doing an encore. So it'll be the second time only that we've broadcast. And if you go to this link and register for the free program, I'll be there as well. Also, Dee Meyer. So we're going to come on at the end of the 30-minute presentation, and we'll do 30 minutes of question and answer. So if you're interested in this topic of conscious business and want to go deeper, do join us on, go and register and then join us on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific. That's going to be a rich conversation. I think you'll be glad you did. Okay, so I'm going to just bring in one of the questions so we can kind of seed them into our hour-long program. So this is from Terry, and Terry says, how do you find organizations that are ready for this type of change? How do you find organizations that are ready for this type of change? So, it's a good question, Terry, because we're absolutely pioneers out with this work, and this is why we started where we did with, the North Star is all top line and bottom line growth for most organizations. So how do we know if they're ready? Well, the leaders of organizations, including solopreneur, are out, even listening to a broadcast like this, and going to these programs that focus on mindfulness, on meditation, on yoga, on spiritual practices that are a part of Humanity's team. We have this, as you know, a streaming platform. In fact, I think Terry's part of that streaming platform. So it's called Humanity Stream Plus, and we've got all of these programs that are focusing on conscious living and conscious business. So it starts really with education, as we talk about conscious business, or for that matter, conscious living. It's education. We get out, we raise our awareness, we become educated, we understand, oh my gosh, So for example, today that we're more than just physical bodies, right? Everybody here is on the conscious journey. So we understand it's a spiritual universe, right? A vibrational universe, which is what it means to be a spiritual universe, where our vibration can be really low and we get sick, or it can be high and we feel great and there's joy, or it can be even higher and we can become healers, Reiki and other kinds of healers, right? As vibrational spiritual beings. So organizations that are ready for this kind of change, we can be sure that the people involved are getting educated, they're raising their awareness, they're coming into these new understandings. They're seeing that a wave is coming in. I can tell you from my Silicon Valley days, in business, you can either be the pioneer out front or the laggard in the back, okay? And the laggard in the back are like, we don't like change. Things were great last year. My granddad had this business 20 years ago. We don't like change, and they're just kind of slow to move.
Like the BlackBerry cell phone.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and the pioneers are in the classes, understanding, living into it, finding these new practices, these new understandings about life, and then taking the business in these new directions. And it is right now the pioneers that are coming on strong, and that are, and as we can see even out in the world today, those pioneers are where the growth is, and the laggards that are more in that conventional, just a few dollars for a sales contest, they're kind of stuck, and they've got high employee turnover, and things aren't working so well. So that's how I would answer that. Would you want to say anything more about that question, Charissa, in terms of organizations ready for this kind of change?
Yeah, sure, Terry. Maybe you can help us. Maybe you can reach out at organizations that you think are ready for this. I mean, I think one thing that could really be wonderful are organizations like Patagonia, where they are already looking out for their people and the planet. And then, so it being a conscious business would be an easy integration, and they can be leaders that other people can see their success and they're conscious and then follow in their footsteps. So I think as we go along this initiative, having these success stories of businesses that are profitable and conscious will really help people jump on board, because they have to. Otherwise, they're going to lose their employees, as we alluded to previously.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought in Patagonia, because what a great example. Yeah, I mean,
I think
as people maybe know, the owners that launched the business have now turned it into all the profits are now going into the nonprofit direction to support and heal the earth. I mean, wow, just a terrific model. They've been such an incredible model for conscious business. And now with this new initiative where they've essentially taken all their wealth and given it away to their nonprofit to support the health and healing and well-being of the earth. So boy, let's hope there are many more businesses that go in that direction. And I'll say about Humanities Team too, we're a nonprofit. So we actually started this way where there's no financial reward. We don't have shareholders, right? There's no enrichment at all of anybody. It's all about taking revenue that comes in.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's all about just taking any revenue that comes in. Boy, good. Let's create more reach, more impact, more positive change. Let's make the whole world conscious. So it's a beautiful model where we don't ever have any discussion around, hey, the shareholders want to see a little more money squeezed out of this model. It's like, that's nowhere in the discussion in Humanities Team. Okay,
that's
so
why I wanted to be a part of it. So amazing. Yeah, there's more. Jack Strasberg. Do you want me to? I can ask this question. Do you want to come on screen, Jack?
Okay, great. And I didn't even see that. So is Jack in the? Okay. Okay, we're going to wait a minute.
Well, I'm sorry.
We'll wait just a minute, and then Jim Gray can bring him in. While we wait, that's going to just take a minute.
Oh, okay.
There
he is.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. No, I think Jim Gray is who's the producer, saying it's just going to take a minute. So no worries.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
that's
just
fine.
take a second. So we can let's noodle a question here while we're waiting, Charissa. So Terry says, do you find the term conscious is hard for executives to relate to? If so, what other words do you use to make the concept more accessible? So that's an interesting question. Let me let you go first on that, Charissa, and then I'll go second.
Okay. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I love that question. Actually, I'm a certified alignment professional, CAP. I went to a business training and it was on aligning an organization. So it's interesting that you brought up that, like, shifting the word from consciousness could be an alignment. Are you going to be in alignment with your people, with the planet, with the profits? Can you get all on the same page? So that could be another word for consciousness. Yeah, I mean, it's such a spiritual word that sometimes maybe businesses might move away from it, or like people first, connection could be another word. So that's what's coming to me for that. Thank you. Steve?
Okay, nice. Yeah. Alignment, and of course, spiritual, though conscious maybe is even more accessible than spiritual. So, and I think Terry, it's a good question because, boy, I don't want to make the suggestion here that all of this is smooth as butter, and just everybody's in this flow, and let's just this dinosaur world, leave it behind, and embrace these new conscious living and a vibrational universe and all of that. I don't want to try and present it that way. I am presenting that I think we're being called to something more. That at least there's a cognitive dissonance, a tapping on the shoulder of, do you want more? Do you want to live into deeper values? Do you want more meaning? Do you want more purpose? Do you want more love in your life? I am actually suggesting that, but this is not to say that this is an easy or simple kind of value proposition for everybody, because conscious living, conscious business, conscious leadership, there are many who would suspect these terms, and I would say to that what they say, when you're ready, the teacher will come, right? So
yeah, I love that you brought that up. Yeah, they're going to be attracted to you. You're going to magnetize them. Exactly.
And yeah, when they're ready, yeah, and some are going to be really slow, to come to this, and that's okay, Everything really, this saying that sounds so trite, that everything's in divine order, it really is true, actually. Really is true. Everything really is in divine order, and people will walk into it, they'll run into it, they'll turn around and head the other way, and it's okay. I find just being, I'm more in the pioneer segment here, and what is rewarding for me and in the pioneer segment is definitely not proselytizing. Okay, so you're never going to see me out on a street corner standing on a chair, trying to trying to tell everybody what to do. I don't actually believe in proselytizing. So what I do believe in is where we share our why. So we're just talking from the heart. We're just telling our truth of, boy, this is what I've done and how it worked for me and mistakes I've made. That's really what I did with my book. A lot of things I wasn't very proud of that I had to learn and grow through. But in the overall direction, I'm really pleased with kind of the direction I've taken my life. And I am a proponent of that, where we're all just listen well, we share our truth, from the heart, and then all of us will do with that what we may. So that's kind of what I think. I think in the overall, because I think there is kind of a calling there, and we're wanting now to go in the overall to support this great shift of the ages that we're now coming into, that we will be successful, and that it's going to, I think 10, 20, 30 years from now, my gosh, our life on this planet is going to be so very different, including in business, is what I think. So I've got I guess I'm sharing a lot of things all at once here.
Steve, can I ask another question before we move on to?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So I because you alluded to it a little bit, but when you were transitioning in your business to being more conscious, what was some of the receptivity from your executive team? How did they take it? What were some of the challenges? Because I was just reading about that in your book. It was such a funny story about them calling you a seagull.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it was challenging for me, honestly, because I knew, that this was my truth. This is who I was becoming. And as you mentioned, I had, a few people say, hey, do you see yourself as a spiritual, priest type CEO? What's going on here? And it's not easy to get questions like that. What's held up in Silicon Valley as the model even to this day is more the alpha male, right? You speak strong, you stand tall, this is where we're going, who's coming with me, right? Is kind of the model. And that was not at all what I was drawn to or what I was becoming. On the good news side, as I've been emphasizing, this notion of where this aspect of a loving environment, a listening environment, a nurturing environment, people liked it, and we had very low turnover, and we were able to hire really a lot of the best people. So it worked. But I wouldn't say a lot of people thought I was the coolest guy in the world with these changes. That I had to, with Stephanie, just had to kind of stand strong in who I was and believe in who I was, and it wasn't going to be about social reward. It's just going to be about more personal reward of I'm being who I know I am, and I can feel good about that.
Yeah. Was that like a lot of like letting go of your ego also, of what you thought you should be, and now you could step into who you're becoming?
Yeah, I suppose so. Because I wasn't really trying to, in ego, we're more trying to preserve a reputation. There's a social mask and these things. And that wasn't what was going on here at all. And all the way to the end, when I went to my business friends, and that were really super accomplished, some of the most accomplished people in the world today. And I said, I don't really have anything more I can contribute to this business organization, because I don't really, I'm really more on the spiritual path than the business path. And, the thing is you have a lot of, you care for each other. So they were saying, well, you could still do this. You don't have to leave. And I said, well, I don't know that I'm really going to help anybody by doing that. So it's hard. That's part of the reason, again, I wrote the book, is I wanted to help other people, that are on this conscious journey, sort of make their legs strong. And the overall, it's such a beautiful path. I'd recommend it to everybody. And I feel like this is the direction we're going in. And on the other hand, there are these arduous moments where people are looking at you a little funny, wondering about you, even concerned about you, of, oh my God, don't throw your lottery ticket away. You're minting money here. Where are you going? Well, I'm going where I know I'm supposed to go, to do something more important than what I'm doing here. So, and we got to be, we have to listen to that that still small voice that will guide us through that. So, and hopefully other stories too, where, because I'm sure people have met other people like me that tell the same story. In a sense, we're all on the same path, all on the same journey, and our experiences are a little different, but we've all, I'm guessing everybody as I'm talking is saying, yep, I had some of that go on here too. And I had people question me too, right? We're all really on a pretty similar journey. Yeah, I see that Jack is ready to come on camera.
That's great.
So
let's hear from you, Jack. Thanks, Steve, for sharing. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we can see you too, Jack.
Okay. I just had the button wouldn't click.
Okay.
Yeah, just briefly, you were talking about Patagonia, and this isn't the question, but when I was putting together an indigenous permaculture teaching group on the Navajo reservation, I got a grant from Patagonia, and that shows what kind of things that they are into doing. But
well, thank you for sharing that. That's incredible. What a synchronicity.
Yeah.
Yeah, and permaculture, fantastic. And of course that's, boy, here in Colorado, talking about big, there's a huge focus there and great work being done.
Great. But what my question is that what I'm kind of working on in terms of conscious business, like you participate with a lot of, like Unity Earth and Unify and We the World and all these other various organizations that are kind of talking together. And what I'm thinking is that, like, what we try to do conscious business, we try to get it out there that they're there and have people know that they're there. And I guess I would take that a step further and put together an almost designed, I guess, model or economy. And what that is that try to get as many people as we possibly can, many people who are willing, who are a part of these movements for a world that works for all, get them in a database, and then get all the conscious businesses that we are able to and are willing to be a part of it, and get them on this database, and then work a way where we can work together on that. In other words, have the people that are willing to purchase from conscious businesses be able to let them know that they are, let them know what products they may want, so that maybe somebody who said, well, there's a lot of people who want this product, I could open a conscious business and know that I'm going to be getting customers from day one. So basically, the idea is almost like a planned economy. You get to the point where the people in a movement for a better world are in constant contact with conscious businesses in an organized way.
Yeah. So support people coming together, finding each other, working together, and even referencing each other, so you get business as you're out there as a conscious entrepreneur. So there are two things, Jack, we're doing relating to this. One is if you go to consciousbusinessdeclaration.org, okay, and you might want to write that down, consciousbusinessdeclaration.org. Back in 2015, Humanities team, together with the Club of Budapest in Europe, the Goy Peace Foundation in Japan, and the Fowler Center as an agent of change at Case Western Reserve University, also in the US, the four of us created this Conscious Business Declaration. And you'll see, just as you mentioned, all of these business leaders that signed the declaration. We invite you, anybody that hasn't gone to the site, go to the site, read the declaration. If you align with it, sign it. So that's one area where we're gathering people like this. The other is in this free training, we're doing the encore again on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We're sharing that there's a Conscious Business Change Agent 9-month program that we've created, which follows the free program. And for people that want to go through the 9-month program, we're creating all of these kinds of things, a community of practice, our streaming platform they can put their programs on if we make sure they qualify, that the content is and broadcast quality are good. But if assuming they're good, we'll let them even put their practice right there on the streaming platform. So you've got a community that's working together, supporting each other, and even a way of getting your conscious business out in the world through this the streaming platform that Humanity's Team operates. So these are two of the things we're doing to try and support the kinds of things that you're talking about here, Jack. So super. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming on camera here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. I love that idea. It just really brought everything together, I felt like, too. He had a question also, but maybe he just wanted to share that idea. Jack said, can you be a truly conscious business without being a worker-owned cooperative? What do you think, Steve?
Okay, yeah, and I'm sorry I missed that question. Yeah, so can you be a truly conscious business without being a worker-owned? So my answer is, see, I think this is all going to go back to the individual. I don't think there's any shoulds in here where, oh no, you should, that you can't do that, because there's freedom, in conscious business, just as there's freedom in conscious living. And truth and love, all of these things, they're actually, the same, they blend together in the most beautiful way as a mosaic. So for some, I think they would say, no, it really, for me, it needs to be a worker-owned, and led organization. In Europe, actually, that there's this model has some currency, right? So, and in the U.S. too, though I think it might be bigger in Europe. Now, here, just as we mentioned, you could be a solopreneur, you could be a coach in a coaching group. You could have various kinds of organization that are conscious where they're practicing all the things that we're talking about. And it isn't a worker-owned thing. It might be a nonprofit. Humanity's Team is not worker-owned, it's a nonprofit. So I think there are many different, it's one of these things, there are many different paths to a beautiful mountaintop. So, and we all want to find our own path, so we all want to go within of what am I being called to? What are my gifts? How should this organization be formed? Does it feel right for me? These are the questions that we want to ask. And just make sure that we're in a form of organization that's really nurturing us and our families and the world around us.
Yeah, that's great. And I agree with you, Steve. I haven't heard about that type of organization too much. I think Bob's Red Mill, they make oatmeal and flours. They're employee-owned organization. So it's just an interesting concept to think about, like infiltrating the conscious business through the organization that way.
Yeah, there really are so many different approaches to conscious business, and the key is just that it's it really is very nurturing, for people. There's a big dream. People are excited. People want to get up in the morning and feel like they're contributing. Their contributions are being acknowledged. These are some of the things that are going on. Incidentally, what's surprising, the biggest category of conscious business in the world today, because it kind of shocked me, so maybe it's going to shock people that are viewing the program, but it's actually regenerative agriculture. So they're in the lead. Regenerative agriculture, there are hundreds of millions, billions of dollars being spent on regenerative agriculture. So these old forms of agriculture where it was all pesticides and fertilizers and, just the soil is trash, just to get the highest crop yield. And boy, the fruit sure looks good. And so does the vegetable until you bite into it, and then it doesn't taste so good. We've all had that experience, right? So agriculture farmers all over the world, it's so neat, are moving into regenerative agriculture where the water sources, the nutrients in the soil, the harvest, often it involves animal life, right, with poop and things, and moving the animal stock around. So there's just a fortune being spent on regenerative agriculture now. So they're leading the way in conscious business as far as I can see. And by not a little bit, but by a lot. So it is happening.
Yeah. That's incredible. And in Boulder, there's a lot of organizations that are leading the way in regenerative farming. Big Yellow Farm, North County, Boulder, they've been doing it, so that's wonderful. I agree with that. There's another question from Francesca. Are you ready to move on to the next question, Steve?
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely.
Okay. So she says, you do not agree with proselytizing, but you still have to market your business. Where do you draw the line between the two? Such a good question.
Yeah. So such a good question. So, I'm not sure. It's another one. I'm not sure there are any shoulds, in terms of you must do this or must do that. What we do in the humanities team is, I'll back up here when the program's over. You'll see Jim Gray, who produces this, but and you know this, Charissa, that I work with a very gifted, talented team. Wow. I mean, amazing people on all sides of it, videographers, writers, people that hold down operations and marketing and things. So what we do is it's just a big collaboration, big love fest on all the communications where we say, what's the message we're trying to get out? Now, the term we use is hearts. So a lot of times on weekends, we'll say, let's bring in a heart dimension. And we still, oftentimes, it'll be a blended thing because we'll talk about conscious business, but we say, let's make it a heart conscious business. And what we mean by that is, let's just bring in the purest, most just beautiful, when we look at this vision we have that we hold up, that's what we're driving toward, this really beautiful, healed earth. What does that vision look like? And where are we now and how are we going to get there? And let's just put the most pure words that we can into this communication addressing that. And then let's talk about conscious business, the free program and the program that follows for people that maybe are interested and want to go deeper. So that's what we do. I don't know that there's any way to call this process excellent or perfect or exceptional or anything like that. It's really just what feels true, what feels honest, how do you want to express yourself? And that we have a really talented writing team. Andy Guski leads that team. There are many writers on the team, and she and her writing team just do an exceptional job, with that.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I would like to make a comment. There was a comment made from somebody listening, Sean Elaine Anderson. So says, my hubby and I have signed the Conscious Business Declaration. We are all in. Yay.
All
wonderful.
right.
And I've signed it as well. So I was like right on board with this whole Conscious Business Declaration. I think it's amazing. And I felt it in my heart. I thought that was interesting. After I signed it, it felt like really good that I was doing something meaningful for my company.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Well, thank you. Yeah. Charissa and this other person that you just
Sean.
shared. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sean. Yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, we're really, gosh, don't we all love our kids and future generations and, with extreme weather and the Ukraine war and, the injustice in its various forms that are out in the world. I mean, I think we all have these concerns for future generations. I'm not so much concerned about myself because I'm in the boomer generation and, and we've had such a great life, but I look at kids and future generations and think, oh my gosh, they deserve, just really a beautiful life. And so things that we can do that, one, they feel good right now, they're make incredible work environments right now, and that they preserve, create this level of physicality out on the planet that we enjoyed growing up. I mean, why would we not do that? Honestly, for me, I have to, my particular Achilles heel is kind of slow myself down because I look at these things and say, oh my gosh, why aren't we all doing this right now? It feels so good, and there's so many, it's so rich in so many ways, and that it's going to create this planet for our kids and future generations. Why aren't we just running, just headlong into it? But that's just me. And I realize, as I've been stating here, everything's in divine order. It's going the way it should go. But that I have a lot of passion for all of these things, and I just speak that passion and support that passion in others, so that we can move at maximum speed as we create a better world.
All right, let's go for it. I wanted to share another comment from Sean. She said, "Oh, my hubby and I said the same thing. We felt it in our hearts by signing it, feeling it, and living it, not just the words of signing it," right? She said, "Love it." So I hope
that
you
is
don't
so
mind
beautiful.
that I shared that.
Oh,
comment,
thank you, Sean. Thank you. In fact, I'm going to remember on Saturday I'm going to try and remember to share that when we do our encore program Saturday morning, because that is so wonderful. I mean, wow, that's going to lift me up all day. Wait till I tell Dr. Larry Clay. He's the dean of the program. So.
Oh, that's so wonderful. See what you did, Sean? You had the power to make Steve Farrell's day with that comment. And now he's going to share it. It's going to have this ripple effect and share it this weekend. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
So make sure.
That is exciting.
Yeah. That's super exciting. Do we have any more questions coming in? I'm not sure if I can see them all.
Yeah. So, okay. There's one here, and Jim is he's gonna help us to see it right now. We've got the studio, so I don't see the questions there. Maybe.
Great.
Carissa
I see it now.
Okay.
So Patricia asks, where is the best place to start? I'm assuming business definition, value, etc., then employee training. Oh, you're getting to the heart of it. You're diving right in. I love this. Getting into logistics, operational. Yes. Okay. Steve, what do you think?
So good. What a fantastic question, Patricia. Yeah. So thank you for bringing that in, Patricia. So let me start with the 3 E's, right? Here. So the first E is this educate, just educate yourself, raise awareness, go enjoy the free program that we're doing Saturday. If you're a stream member, oh my God, there is so much content here on conscious business and conscious living. We're a pig in a trough. I mean, get into that treasure. Don't let, there are hundreds of programs. Get into, at least one a week, set a little pace for yourself. So education. 2, as we become educated, and have this new awareness, these new understandings, the real fruit is when we eat it, which means to embody it and express it, right? So it's to just have the awareness and it's just stuck here, logic center of mind. It doesn't go anywhere or do anything. So the real fruit of it, the beauty of it, is in the expression of it, of where we're living into it. Start living into these. So in a business context, whether you're a solopreneur or in an Intel or some big Google or Apple organization, start living into it. Bring these conscious practices with you to work. Live into them and feel it as you embody it and express it. I promise you, it's going to feel so incredibly good that the next E is going to be easy, which is to engage others. Not in a proselytizing way, but just in a sharing. Just be open of, oh my God, just like you hear me, I had my embarrassing things I say about myself. Oh, I had the stickums and I put them on people's screen and do this. And I have my day planner and I'm sitting there meeting with 10 things. And, it's embarrassing really that I did those things, but I threw those things out and I went to this more heart-centered like we are here, just kind of talking from the heart about things. And then when we do that, when we're living it and we invite others to live it, as we are here, we're inviting others to live it. That's engaging others. That helps it to spread, where we're engaging others by just the simple example of kind of what we've done, how we've sort of straightened ourselves out as we've walked into this North Star. So educate, embody and express, and engage others. So now I'll just add, if you're going to go in the direction of creating a conscious business with a larger team, there are things, I'll just give you one other thing here as well, and that is that you've got to recruit people that have been through these E's. So not just awareness and educating, logic center of mind, but embody and express. they're going to be softer, more gentle. They'll be listening better. They're more loving. They're more kind. They're more patient. These are all symptoms of people that are have gone through the education and are embodying and expressing. You want to create a culture where people can enjoy working together. So that's really important that you recruit people like that. Now, as for other practices, and there are many, the Conscious Business Change Agent program, the free program on Saturday, the 9-month program that follows, there are lots of ways that you can go much, much deeper than just the conversation that we're having here today. And it looks like we're out of time here. So Charissa, do you have final words here for everybody?
That was so much fun. Thank you, Patricia, for that question. And thank you, Steve, for allowing me to join you and interview you today. I really enjoyed it. I hope everyone else did as well.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for making the time, Charissa, and planning this into your day and your week. So thank you very much. And viewers, wow, been fantastic here. We can actually see you on camera, so wave at you, hear those in the green room. Yeah, thanks for being here. It's wonderful to have a live audience with us. And then out on social media, Facebook, YouTube, so out on the Sign Network and John Raymer. Hey, thank you all for being here with us. We are grateful. We really appreciate it. So at 12 noon Pacific, in 2 hours, I'm going to come back on with another guest. We're going to do a little half-hour program. So if you're out on social media, keep your eyes peeled. We've got a delightful half-hour program in store for you here in just a couple hours. Okay, and I want to thank, looks like maybe, are we off camera here? So
there it is.
Jim, I want to thank my partners and colleagues.
The program, yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so if we pull the camera back, that's me on the couch. Jim Gray, thanks. He's the guy that makes everything happen here. Jim, we appreciate it. I mentioned Andy Guski earlier, but Dee Meyer, Nanette Kennedy, Garth Catterall, Karen Watson. So there's so many. I have incredible partners and colleagues. Thank you to all of you guys that help make this possible. And we'll be back in 2 hours. So if you're around, join us out on social media. Charissa will be talking with you real soon. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And peace and blessings, everybody. Okay, thank you.